For a long time, I was in love with my Yeti mic. She was perfect. We really hit it off. I loved the simpleness of the design. She was easy to live with. I look back on our years together with fondness. To me, she was perfect. Even the shortfalls, they had an appeal. Her size and weight. I looked upon it as a plus, a benefit. For hours and hours, I talked, and she just listened to every word I said. If someone asked, I need a mic for my Monsters of Rock podcast. Get a Yeti. I want to create a cool slide deck. Get a Yeti. I want to start a YouTube channel for car enthusiasts. Get a Yeti. At every opportunity, I'd spread the Yeti love. But as time passed, I realised, as so many middle-aged men do, it's time to trade her in for a younger, a thinner, a more attractive model. I mean, come on, I'm only human. So, as often is the case in these things, and I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed to say it, so please don't judge me. I turned to the internet and I started my search. Now, there's no shortage of USB mics to tempt you. And after trying quite a few and thinking that maybe I should go back to the Yeti, I found the Shure MV7. I tried it, and I have to say, this mic, it's something else. It's streets ahead of the old Yeti. Poor girl. Anyway, I've moved on, and here's why I've put my faithful Yeti out to pasture, and I've switched. Here's why I think the MV7 is better, and the secret lies with the MV7's bigger sister. Now, if you've watched any number of YouTube videos, you'll have seen the Shure SM7B. I mean, this mic is everywhere. It's a professional XLR mic, and it's perfect for voice. What the boffins at Shure have done, using their heads here, what they've done is they've taken everything, well, almost everything, that makes the SM7B great, and then they've used what they've learned in the MV7. And frankly, after using the MV7 for a couple of weeks, I'm finding it hard to see why paying so much more for an SM7B would be worth it. And it's not just the cost, it's not the cost of the mic either. The MV7, it's got an XLR and a USB. Keeping it simple, USB, that is the way to go. You plug it in, and away you go. That's it. Instant studio sound. Whereas, if you bought the more expensive SM7B, you'd have to pony up for an audio interface. And since most of the cheaper audio interfaces don't provide enough power to run the SM7B, you've also got to buy a device to boost the signal, like this FEThead. All told, it's like $1,000 to get it set up. Now, of course, out of the box, the much cheaper MV7, it isn't going to be as good as the SM7B. Almost, but not quite. But, and this is a huge but, there's a quick modification that it's easy to make, that'll make this MV7 sound almost identical to its more expensive, bigger sister, the SM7B. And I'll show you that in a minute. You won't believe how easy it is and what a difference it makes. Anyway, what is it? What is it that makes the MV7 a real contender for the best USB mic on the planet? Here's what you need to know. The MV7 is what's called a dynamic mic. The Yeti, that's a condenser mic, old school. The difference, and if you're not recording in a sound-treated room, this makes a big difference. A dynamic mic, it's really good at picking up what's close by and totally ignoring any background sounds. A condenser mic, like the Yeti, that just picks up everything. Traffic outside, you'll hear it. Aircon in your room, you'll hear it. Not always ideal if your recording space isn't perfect. But with a dynamic mic, it cuts a lot of the background noise out. You get cleaner audio. So at this point, I bet you want to hear what the MV7 sounds like. And just to give you some reference, up until now, I've been using a $1,000 shotgun mic. Because personally, I like the mic to be out of the shot, hence I often use a shotgun mic. Anyway, so here we go. This is the MV7 in all its glory. Now, there's no processing, it's just plugged directly into my computer with a simple USB cable. The MV7 has also got what's called a proximity effect. In simple terms, if you get closer to the mic as you move in, your voice gets richer and deeper, like a radio announcer, if that's your thing. It also comes with a downloadable app where you can adjust it, add settings to improve how you sound, all with just a click of a button. And if you're like me and you just hate having the mic actually in the shot like this, it's got a far mode. Switch it on and now you can have the mic out of the shot without sounding like you're too far away from the mic. They sure have thought of everything. But unlike the more expensive SM7B, there's a problem. The problem with the MV7, if you get too close to the mic and you talk, you get plosives. That's the popping sound. That's the air hitting the mic. It pops. Peter picked a pickled pepper. Do you hear it? But that doesn't happen on the SM7B. This is one of the big differences between the affordable MV7 and the more expensive SM7B. But, and here comes the coup de grace. If we just remove the filter, and I'll switch mics while I do this. If we remove this filter, the filter that comes with the MV7, and it just pulls off like that, and then we replace it with the pop filter that comes with the SM7B, and I'll just switch back to the MV7. So, with a new filter, if I try again, Peter picked a pickled pepper. Guess what? No plosives. And it also improves the overall sound. You can buy these replacement filters for like $20. It's called an RK345. You can get them on Amazon. Anyway, with this filter, there's almost no difference between the SM7B and the MV7. Apart from the fact, of course, you have more money in your pocket and you don't have to mess around with lots of equipment. But, and the question you're really asking, can the MV7, can it really be as good as the more expensive SM7B? Let's find out. Here we go, SM7B connected, and this audio is now going through the SM7B with no fancy processing, just plugged directly into my computer. Sounds pretty good to me. And here's the MV7 connected. And what I've done, I've moved it up just a little bit to get it the same distance away as what the SM7B was. And again, no fancy processing, just plugged directly into my computer via USB. And in my opinion, there's absolutely no difference at all. So before you run out, in fact, just let me move this thing out of the way. There we go. So before you run out and you buy a USB mic, in my opinion, the MV7, it's worth a look at. It's a real quality mic. And this brings me on to my final point. If you're creating any kind of content, videos, podcasts, doing Zoom calls, anything where how you look, how you sound, affects how much money you make, I've created a free downloadable guide that shows you everything you need to know in getting set up. It's well worth a look, full of useful tips, tricks, all kinds of stuff. Well, there you go. Until next time, bye for now.